So Asha, in many cases, right, husbands, in-laws, and all of them use pressure tactics to influence a woman's career decision. How can women in that situation kind of assert their passion and say, this is my professional aspiration, this is what I want to do? How should they put it across without offending the parties? Because the parties involved are all high stake holders, so you need to handle it with caution. So how do they do that?
Yeah, again, it is, you operate out of a place of empathy and you operate out of a place of leadership as well. So, women have to walk the talk. It is a tightrope walk for sure. And when I say we have to walk the talk, it is we have to share the outcome of our working with our family members, the recognitions that we get, the impact that we have in the workplace needs to be shared with the family members so that they know that you are adding value and you are much more than just the role of the daughter-in-law and the wife that you can play at home. As long as you are able to convince the significant family members that you are not restricted to playing these roles and you can manage both your professional life as well as this to the extent possible and showcase that there is support available. I can vouch for men in the industry, and Raghu Saab just called out how I was taken care of. My first job was a technical marketing job where I had to travel, and I had to travel cities. Sometimes the airplane would leave early in the morning, which means I had to start from my house at 4 a.m., take a cab, reach the airport, or I would arrive in the destination quite late in the night. But I always had my colleagues along with me. I never did travel alone. I always had the workforce traveling with me. And the organization also went to the extent that I was not comfortable staying put up in a hotel. I wanted to live with my family friends, and they were okay with it. So, the family at home also needs to know that there is a family in the workplace who will take care of you. And the integration, you are the bridge. You need to bridge the two. So my husband and daughter know my colleagues. They know my workplace. And similarly, my colleagues know my family. So that way, it enables a woman to integrate both these worlds. And that makes it easier for her.
I want to point out one instance. Okay, what happened was there was you know, an account manager in my firm. So she wanted to stay in Bangalore, and there is a team that is there. So she got married to a person who is in Bangalore. She wanted to move out of Bihar, so she got married to somebody in Bangalore so that she can come and have a metropolitan life. They moved here. 3 months into the marriage, COVID struck. Then they were all remote. They were not able to move, so they were in Bangalore. And then she continued to work. She joined as an HR executive, and then grew all the way to an account manager in about 2.5 years. And then she was handling about 15 people. And then suddenly her husband wanted got work from home, and the restrictions all were revised. And then he went back home to Odisha and Bihar. So the girl also went back to Bihar with him. And then once that was done, so she wanted to, we told her there are team folks to manage. You need to be here. It cannot work remotely because there's more tactical kind of stuff. So it cannot be done remotely unless you're an individual contributor. Then she came back with her husband, and then her husband again went back. And then after going there, the husband and mother in law colluded and said, you got to come back. If your company is not letting you come back, you can quit your job. And then she fought for some time, and then she said, no, I will not come back. I will stay here. So she stayed in her house alone while her husband was in Bihar. And then once that happened, then what transpired is that her husband stopped talking to her, her mother-in-law stopped talking to her, and then they stopped wishing her on her birthday, anniversary, and all of that. And then it became a very fidgety situation. And then the mother of the girl calls the husband and then talks, and then there is a family collusion. And finally she came and asked me. I said, you can get another job, but finding another husband is a very difficult thing, so you should probably quit and leave. And then that's what happened. But in these kind of situation, what would you do? What is advisable to do?
Very tough situation, actually. And it doesn't happen overnight, you know. When you face such challenging, tough situations, it takes time. We cannot resolve this overnight for sure. It takes a lot of, especially if it's an arranged marriage, you are getting to know your partner and the partner's family as much as you would have spent time before marriage. Living with the person, living with the people is the reality. It The reality will come out when you start living with the person, you know. So it takes time. From that lady's point of view, I understand, because I was in a, like I said, I was in a travel oriented, and if I wanted to continue, it would have been tougher. Without anybody having to tell me, I sensed it and I said, if I have to continue to travel, and it may be different for different women. In my case, I wanted to switch over and I wanted to do more design where I didn't have to travel. So there is no dearth of roles in the industry. If one kind of role requires and mandates you to work from office, requires you to be physically present, there are roles where you can, also choose to work. So depending upon the personal dynamics, a lady has to be flexible to explore more options that are available.
Got it.